Hi everyone, Tom was here, back at it with another movie review. It has been a little while. We are very deep into haunt season, and I'll be honest, I thought there would be another haunt video this weekend. I have one that's currently editing, but the other one that was supposed to take place Saturday night, unfortunately, everybody had a valid excuse of why they had to bail out, and that valid excuse was for them, not for me. I demand you all attend haunt season when we're going to haunts. I demand you all be there. So I missed out, unfortunately, on one Saturday night. Got to reschedule for next week. But because I missed out, I stayed home. Did not get to do any haunts on Saturday. And I went, you know what? Tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to watch some scary movies. That seems like a good idea. Miss out on a haunted house, so we'll go watch a scary movie. And I unfortunately decided to pick Halloween Ends. Oh boy. Where do I begin? Where do I begin on Halloween Ends? Well, we're going to get into this. And we're going to get into why this was an insult. An insult to its audience. An insult to its characters. Just an all-around disrespect of the Halloween franchise in general. So, we're going to get into some spoilers. I do a spoiler review, so just letting you know that now. We will definitely talk spoilers in this, so if you've not seen Halloween Ends, first of all, if you haven't seen Halloween Ends, I envy you. You still might have some respect for the current Halloween franchise. But if you have seen Halloween Ends, then you can continue watching. If you've sat through Halloween Ends and you went, wow, I really want to hear someone bash this, keep watching. But we are going to get into the Halloween Ends review on Tom Was Here.
Hey, how do you like this? I'm Danny Israel, and you're watching Tom Was Here.
Okay, Halloween Ends. Spoilers ahead, just in case for some reason you missed the intro and you're jumping in now. Spoilers for sure are happening. I can't stress this enough. Halloween Ends, or the Corey Cunningham movie, as some people have affectionately called it. And by the way, I think we'll start there. Corey Cunningham. What movie franchise, what any franchise does this fly in? What if they went, hey, Back to the Future Part 3, it was a planned trilogy, and in the third Back to the Future, Doc is going to help a new kid travel through time for, like, the most of the movie, and then, like, Marty will show up at the end. Or reverse it, like, Marty will find a new doctor to travel through time, and then Doc shows up at the end. This is what Halloween Ends is. Now, what I have to ask is, I've heard conflicting reports. I have to know, and somebody can let me know in the comments down below. Was this a planned trilogy? I've heard people say that it was. If it was, this is stupid. If it wasn't, that helps it a little bit to make it less stupid. Because basically they were grasping for ideas. So I will give it a grain of salt if it was not a planned trilogy. Like if they rebooted Halloween and the hope was that that was it. But I believe this is under the guise that this was a planned trilogy. Because Halloween, the 2018 reboot, was good. Surprisingly good. It could have ended with that. Now that you've seen all of them, you've seen Halloween, you've seen Halloween Kills, you've seen Halloween Ends, tell me now what Halloween Kills and Halloween Ends brought to the table that the 2018 Halloween reboot did not. Tell me what it brought to the table. Tell me what more these two other movies accomplished in the legacy of these characters as a film in general. Because Halloween Kills was stupid. Painfully stupid, and the characters were even dumber. Now, if I'm here, if I start criticizing every dumb character in a scary movie, I'd be here till the end of time. But they were exceptionally stupid. Like, far more than standard stupid characters. But we're not going to talk about that. You've seen Halloween Kills. You knew it was garbage. I don't know how many people defended that one. The whole hook is that it's the continuation. It felt like it was a middle movie in a planned trilogy, which they were setting the table for the finale. So if Halloween Kills felt like a middle movie that was setting the table for the finale, now we're at the finale, and you hand off the reins to another character that there's the lead character in the majority of the film. That is a risk. It is a risk. And that character would have to have been a home run. He's not. He is useless in every conceivable way. And if you're wondering, well, I'm being really hard on the actor or whatever, it's not really even the actor's fault. He's put into a position to fail. And look, a lot of people were asking, like, why did they put Halloween Kills on Peacock same day? Why did they put Halloween Ends on Peacock same day? Do you know why? Because they're bad. And the studio knew they were bad. And they went, well, if we get a bunch of people to sign up to Peacock, this will be okay. And I'm sure people will go see it because it's Halloween and it's October. So we'll get our money at the box office. But then we'll put it on Peacock and we'll get a bunch of people to sign up to Peacock to save Peacock. Also, for you Corey Cunningham defenders, of which there are a few, I've actually seen some. I've seen some online. I'm shocked. Let me ask you a question. If he was so great, if he was so pivotal in this thing, why did the marketing hardly use him at all? Now, you could say because they're keeping a secret. They're keeping a secret that they have two legacy characters that have been with you and in our lives, in some cases, in this case, longer than my entire life. They've been around. Halloween was from the 70s. They're still doing Halloween movies today. It just came out this weekend. So that character and Michael Myers, the original OG monster, before there were so many monsters out there. They do this. They have these two characters. They're prepared for their final battle. And they go, wait a minute. Let's instead have the majority of the movie be this useless kid with his useless problems that don't advance the plot in any way and are filler. And then we'll slap on the final confrontation at the end there. Which wasn't nearly as good as the one that was in the 2018 reboot. It wasn't nearly as fleshed out, wasn't nearly as good. What were they thinking? I mean, so the other thing beyond Corey Cunningham being just a useless character is, so they start off the movie where the kid, he accidentally kills a kid. And look, in a scary movie, I have a respect for when they kill a kid. The reason being is because anyone can die. That's the hook of it. The hook of it is if you kill a kid in a scary movie, then any character can die in that sense, because a kid is considered like untouchable in most scary movies. Like, they don't die because it's upsetting. You don't want that to happen. So they do a shock factor of killing a kid out of the gate, and then this character, which don't get me wrong, the kid's a little punk. Like, I'm not saying he deserved to get thrown down the stairs or fall through stories from a top floor, but no. So they do this, and then somehow they don't explain. They kind of gloss over it. He gets off. So they ruled it accidental or whatever, and the kid gets to walk. But of course, him walking has turned him into a pariah in the town. Everybody's like, oh, this is the freak that killed the kid, whatever. And so, he's real angsty. He's like the angstiest character that's ever angst. He's getting bullied by high school kids. He's an adult. You can't do high school kids are bullying another high school kid when that high school kid's an adult. They're like, buy us beer, man, and then they're just decide to mess with him because he wouldn't buy them beer. You know what I mean? Like there's something so everything about the character I did not like. Everything. He, like I said, he served no purpose. They shoehorned him into the story with the fact that he started dating Laurie Strode's granddaughter, Allison. And even that I did not buy. They had the characters had no chemistry together. They were pointless together. There was no reason for the character of Allison to be interested in this person other than the fact that her mother died and she was in a bad place. That's the only thing that I can give you and go well, yeah, that's why they would be together. But then they fell hard for each other to the point where she's like, blow it all up, risk it all for you. And I'm like, why? Because you danced at a bar one time? Because that's the only thing that they showed. Meanwhile, he was acting like a weirdo most of the time. There's nothing to make me think that these two people would be together in any conceivable way. I didn't buy the relationship. So the hook of this is that he gets beat up by high school kids. Okay. All right, he's an adult. He gets beat up by high school kids. He somehow Pennywises his way into a tunnel, a sewer drain somewhere, in Lower Haddonfield, and stumbles upon Michael Myers. And Michael Myers somehow, that the movie never explains and never will, was able to pass his Michael Myers powers, which I'll repeat, the director has repeated on regular authority that Michael Myers is a mortal man. This is an important distinction. Michael Myers is a mortal man, and they're using the original movie as canon, but keep in mind in the original movie, he was shot 6 times by Loomis and fell off a balcony and ran away. But he's a mortal man. But this mortal man possessed this kid or young adult with the powers to kill by touch, which is not a new concept. It's been done kind of before. There's a movie called Fallen. Denzel Washington, John Goodman. The idea is there's a serial killer, and without getting too much into the plot details of a movie that's 100 years old, there's a serial killer that's able to pass off his essence or his entire. He's able to take over people's bodies simply by a touch. So they can just touch each other, and then he becomes this person, he becomes that person. How do you track someone when they become this other person? In this movie, this is more kind of like Jason Goes to Hell. If you're not familiar with Jason Goes to Hell, the end of not really the end of the Jason movies, but the supposed end of the Jason movies, is that Jason was killed and turned into little Jason bits, of which we get into later in this movie. Maybe an issue. Maybe that's how they resurrect it. And his little Jason bits his heart somehow gets eaten by a coroner. The coroner gets possessed. He eats the heart, and then he becomes Jason, but he's in the coroner's body. This then gets passed around from person to person, and then each person becomes Jason. There's a movie from the 80s called The Hidden, where an alien did the same thing. Where an alien creature would pass their alienness onto another person, and it would just be the body of the person, but you wouldn't be able to track it because it would just look like a normal person. This has been done before. This is nothing new or exciting or anything. Anywho, he passes his Michael Myers powers, mortal man, onto this kid, and this kid is now going to start killing people. Why? Like, what is it? Because Michael was it that Michael was too weak and he needed the kills to get stronger? Because now you're venturing into Freddy Krueger territory. I feel like these people, of which sadly would be like, here's a reason why I haven't made a movie, is because I've seen too many movies. And I think that's part of the issue of why these people made a bad movie, is because they're basing stuff on other concepts of movies they already seen and trying to make it work for themselves, and it does not work. So anyway, the kid slowly transforms into Michael Myers, kind of. And he's killing all this useless cannon fodder characters. Like, you know how Halloween Kills just got rid of legacy characters? Legacy character is a character that's been around since, like, the beginning, so many years ago. And they did it in almost a highlight reel form at the end of the movie, where they just got rid of, like, the sheriff of Annie, the dad sheriff of Annie, and Tommy Doyle, and all these characters, because they were too dumb enough not to beat Michael to death, which they would have. Normal people would have. They wouldn't have just stood there and waited for him. Oh, we think he's dead now. We're just going to look at him so he can get up and kill us all. It's stupid. Anywho. Yeah. So this movie, the only kills were people you of no interest, but cannon fodder. The reason why the nurse friend of Allison had to die is because she's chatty and talks a lot. The reason why the doctor had to die was because he was talking about fantasy football on the phone and he threw a chart at Allison. So they deserve to die. The mother of Corey had to die because she was the mother of Corey and because she, was looking out for him. The teenage kids had to die because they were bullies. But, like, beyond, like, what? Did you care about them? Did you care about anybody? Anybody that died in this movie, did you go like, oh? The only one that I actually felt somewhat bad for, was the one kid that wasn't the bully, but she was hanging out with bullies. Which she, I think, arguably got it the worst of them all, if I remember correctly. I think she got it worse than any of them. So, yeah, so they're useless characters. And then, speaking of useless, for the most part, okay, so Corey has become full Michael Myers at this point, and he goes to kill Laurie. Okay, that's his, he's going to do what Michael Myers couldn't do, and he's going to kill Laurie. So then they get in this confrontation, and Laurie's just like, shoots him or whatever, and they go through some garbage, and then Corey makes the decision where he's going to stab himself in the neck and make it look like Laurie did it to ruin Allison, ruin her grandmother in her eyes. So he does this. Then Michael Myers comes in, somehow takes his essence back. They made sure to show that he kind of like took his essence back from the kid and snapped the kid's neck. And I'll be honest, I was thrilled. That was arguably one of the most satisfying deaths of the movie for me because he was useless as a character. And you want me to prove how useless he was? Well, so he did exactly what he said he was going to do. He stabbed himself in the neck. Laurie looked like she did it. The granddaughter walked in. She freaked out. She was so mad at Laurie. So devastated. She's never going to talk to her again. The kid did it. And man, he had a plan, and he executed it, and he did it. He made it look like Laurie killed him, and therefore it justified his death. Oh, wait. The granddaughter maybe got halfway around the block, heard a report from the police that Laurie called in her own suicide, came back and went, hey, or saved Laurie's life from Michael, but went, Oh, you know what? I just figured it out. Corey did kill all those people. You were right all along. I'm sure Corey's thrilled that him sacrificing his own life and stabbing himself in the neck to get to get Allison to be like, oh, nobody will have her because I'll ruin her because I'll say your grandmother killed. All that big plan was resolved in 30 seconds. 30 seconds of time. 30 seconds of time on screen for the granddaughter to figure out his master plan. Also, when she was so angry at her grandmother, you killed my boyfriend that I was so in love with even though we had no chemistry and we sucked. Didn't happen to acknowledge that the kid was dressed up in overalls, had the Michael Myers mask there. Just looked right past that. Just looked right past it. These characters are stupid. They're stupid for stupid's sake. And the whole Corey thing was a loose thread that they made into a central arc to get Michael and Laurie to confront each other one last time. In the most pointless way. Just stupid. Stupid! I can't begin to, you know, I can sit here and bash this movie for another 4 hours. Like, I really could. Like, there's so many things. Like, for example, so Laurie. Okay, let's get into Laurie first, just a split second. Laurie Strode spent 45 years, roughly, a little under 50 years, I think they're saying, waiting for Michael to come back. Became the crazy grandma, crazy person. Defended her house, set up her house for perimeter, learning how to defend herself, learning how to shoot, learning how to do all this stuff. Then she does all that. Then she beats Michael with the help of her daughter and granddaughter. Then Michael escapes. Then Michael kills her friends and her daughter while she's laying in a hospital bed for most of the useless Halloween kills. Then in this one, it's 4 years past. Her daughter's dead. Michael Myers still out there. But Laurie found a laptop. She found a laptop, folks. And listen, she's not nearly as upset. The town is in ruins. They're devastated. Their friends and family were all murdered. So many people's friends, husbands, wives, kids, teenage kids, whatever, all murdered. Laurie's doing just fine. She only gets upset when someone points out to her, like, hey, although they are blaming her for what Michael did, which is stupid shit. It's stupid behavior that no one would I mean, I guess they need someone. They can't do it to Michael, so they just use Laurie, and they're like, oh, he was crazy, and you set him over the edge. And it's like, nah, that's loose, but okay, whatever. I mean, not saying that people wouldn't do that, but yeah, Laurie's she got a laptop, and she's writing down her feelings. And by writing down her feelings, her whole 45 years of her life that she used to defend her just washed away. Doesn't matter if they didn't find Michael. Doesn't matter. We're all fine. That is also stupid. That doesn't make any sense. Her character arc in this makes no sense. Her character arc in the Halloween 2018 makes a ton of sense. But now it's like, she was waiting because they killed her friends. They killed her friends, and she spent 45 years getting ready. They killed her daughter. Wait a minute. No. Look, when I got a laptop, I'm writing down my feelings. It will be fine. I'm okay. I'm baking pies and stuff. I'm flirting with the sheriff. This is stupid. I can't with this movie. And please, if you've still been watching this at this point, where are your Halloween Ends defenders? Tell me why you like this film. Tell me why you like this movie. I have to know why someone liked this film. I don't see it. Corey Cunningham was a terrible character. Laurie Strode was not her character. And then when he got to the end, the finale, the whole hook is that she's got Michael dead to rights. She's got Michael. She's got the person who tormented her, killed her friends, killed her daughter. 45, almost 50 years of her life. She's got him pinned to a table. Knives in his hands. He can't move. And she goes, "It's been this long." And she's going to do the villain speech. You know when the villains give their whole speech to the hero? Enough time for the hero to get out of it and dispatch the villain? Laurie's going to do the villain speech. If you had the killer of your friends, the person that tormented you for most of your life, the killer of your daughter, on a table, pinned down, and you had a knife, I would have said the same thing she said, except for at the same time, I would be repeatedly stabbing them. Like a normal human who's been pushed over the edge. A person who's been wronged by this person, who's had friends, family killed by this person. She's gonna be like, "I've waited so long for you to be." This is stupid. I can't. And I get it, like it's a movie. You know, movies, people have their moments, and this is supposed to be the culmination of 50 years of this all brought. It felt cheap. It felt empty. It felt stupid. Then they put Michael Myers. Did they rope him to a Prius? Is that what the car was? This is after they slashed his throat. They slashed his wrist. He's supposedly bleeding out. They put him on a Prius. Somehow the entire town is out for a parade. I don't know how people were informed that the man that was roped to a Prius heading to a junkyard was Michael Myers, but somehow the entire town figured this out. No one called for a parade. No one had a bullhorn, yet somehow the entire town's going to come out to see this. And so they put him in a grinder, a car grinder, basically, and grind him into little bits. And you're like, well, if this is a mortal man, as the director of Halloween said, this is a mortal man, this would be the end of it. But this film already introduced that Michael Myers can, by touch, can put his essence onto someone else. And for those familiar with Jason Goes to Hell, Jason was also cut up into little bits. Didn't stop him from becoming Jason again. Maybe that's how they reboot it. Some coroner comes along, scrapes up little Michael Myers bits, eats them, and becomes Michael Myers. But he's in human form to make the full Jason Goes to Hell circle. There's so many things that were useless in this film, but the passing of the essence onto the kid may be the dumbest thing of them all. It's like, you know how dumb it is? It's like in the movie Batman and Robin, when Mr. Freeze knocks over Batman and Robin early on in the movie, and they click their feet together and ice skates come out. This is about as lazy of a plot point as that. Lazy of a plot device, I guess you could say, as that. That's how lazy it was. There's no purpose for this kid to, one, exist in this universe. For two, for him to become the new Michael Myers when Michael Myers is kind of like hanging out in a sewer for 4 years. Like the whole thing about it is insulting. It's insulting. It's insulting to the characters. It's insulting to the audience. You're building up in the trailer, in almost every form of media, that Halloween Kills, or Halloween Kills Halloween was a trilogy, and this is the final chapter, the final confrontation, the final appearance of Laurie Strode on camera. And this is what we get. A movie that, for the vast majority of it, was run by a character who sucks. This is like, I'll tell you what this is like. It's like the next Karate Kid. It's like Freddy 2. Next Karate Kid, Ralph Macchio, and then they're like, well, we're going to make the Karate Kid without Ralph Macchio. We're just going to have another kid. Or in Freddy 2, it's like, hey, Nancy? Like, you like Nancy? Nancy was the great heroine to Freddy Krueger's villain. Cool, we're going to make it to some guy. Just some random guy who sucks. And he's going to be, like, the new person. And you're like, nah. And then, of course, they went right back to Nancy in the next one. Understandably so, because 2 sucked. It sucked. And this one, the end of a trilogy, not necessarily the same as a third movie. This is not the same thing as a third movie. This is a trilogy. So you're ending the trilogy by introducing a completely unrelated character, a character you didn't introduce in the first 2 parts. And then that character's going to be your lead. That character's going to replace a character, one of the OG, central slashers, of the original slasher of all time. This shitty character, this terrible character is going to replace that? Why? Stupid! How can you defend this film? Let me know, because I could rant about this forever. I don't even know how long this video is. I may have to cobble some out, because I feel like I've been talking forever. This is the most pointless movie to ever exist. It ruined the canon of Halloween. If you're going to watch Halloween. You can watch Halloween 2, because I like that they started from right after the events of Halloween. You can watch even the 2018 reboot that these guys did of Halloween. I thought that was enjoyable. Don't watch Halloween Kills. Don't watch Halloween Ends. They provide nothing. And I want a difference of opinion here. Let me know in the comments down below your thoughts on Halloween Ends. For me, it was stupid. It was painfully stupid. It was so bad. And I had kind of had somewhat hopes, like, when you have a final confrontation of these, like, legacy characters, like an iconic scream queen of horror, the iconic villain of that, and they're taking a back seat to a kid that was set up to fail, that they almost knew everyone would hate. And then at the end of this result, this pointlessness, they go, well, Laurie kind of gets her happy ending, I mean, her daughter's dead, but the sheriff's interested. She's going to take her on a trip. That's nice. Doesn't matter if she sacrificed almost 50 years of her life with this crisis. Lost friends, lost family. But the sheriff's going to take her on a trip. Happy ending. Come on. Disappointed is an understatement. Like I said, I'm insulted. By this. So let me know in the comments down below your thoughts on Halloween Ends. Did you like it? Did you hate it? Did you think it was stupid and pointless? What are your thoughts on Corey Cunningham? Is he the worst character of all time? Not because of, like I said, not even necessarily because of himself, but you're adding him into a trilogy where he's now the lead character, but you're trying to wrap up a story. This is so impossible to do that they had to know it would fail. They had to know it would be bad. You can't not know this would. I mean, was it purposefully bad? Did they try to make it bad? I'm so confused. Anywho, let me know in the comments down below your thoughts on Halloween Ends. Guys, Thanks so much for watching. If you are new here, make sure to like, share, and subscribe. If you'd like to support me on Patreon, you can do so. Link is in the description below. If you'd like to buy a t-shirt, a Tom Was Here t-shirt, you can do so at Spreadshirt, as well as links to my eBay store, Facebook page, Instagram, Clubhouse, and the Pennsylvania Autograph Collectors Association. Links are in the description below. Is Halloween Ends... Where do you rank Halloween Ends, I guess, in the Halloween franchise? Where do you rank it, this Halloween group, in terms of trilogies? For Halloween Ends, it's so bad that I just assumed that during that final fight that Busta Rhymes was to just run out of like a closet and try to do like kung fu moves on Michael Myers. That's how bad that's how bad this ended. I mean, it is so exceptionally bad. I don't even know where to... I feel bad for people that are being introduced to Michael Myers in this way. I really do. Because if you... if this is the Michael Myers you know, you're going to be like, what's this? Who cares? Sucks. And they're right. He sucks. But he was barely in it. Barely in it. How do you have a Halloween movie? This is not a Halloween 3 situation. Let me repeat that. Halloween 3 was under the blanket of Halloween. If it was its own movie, not in the Halloween franchise, and I do see people are starting to come around to this now. Halloween 3 is a surprisingly good film. A lot of people bash it because, like, how can you have a Halloween movie without Michael Myers? Well, they had Halloween Ends. That almost doesn't have Michael Myers. And was that what they were going for? Were they trying to somehow do a conclusion, but somehow pay homage to Halloween 3 by not including Michael Myers for most of the movie? I don't know what the hell they were doing, to be honest with you. But, guys, thanks so much for watching. I can't talk about this anymore. It's irritating me. Yeah, Halloween Ends. So bad. So epically bad. Thanks so much for watching. And until the next video, of which I have some haunt stuff coming up soon, a few other things in the works, but I will see you soon. But until then, bye everyone.